He said this. He said, but they are angels. They are entities. There was a book called Thompson put out called Angels and Aliens back here in the early 90s. You still might be able to get it. But the thing about it here is this here. Now you talking about that thing out there. The Michael Talbot's book, The Holographic Universe, and he's getting it from the occult realms. It's all explained in the Kabbalistic system, which came off the Temple of Komombo in Egypt and the Temple of Dendera in Kemet. You see what I'm saying? Temple of Dendera in Kemet. See, this is what I say. You ought to be able to trace certain things back to when your people were speaking and make the analogy. Then these crackers and new motherfuckers coming up with this new shit that you can't find. Right here is the same concept of the UFO, where you see these gods among the boat. You see that all over Kemet, especially the Temple of Dendera. The gods among the boat. Now, this is the key on that, is this. These gods are nothing but components of us, so that means that we are connected with the ships. I'm going to get into all that type of thing because I gave you something in your package that looked like this. You will see something in your package. See, this is based on scholarship. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying you can fool around with the what's going on.
Now, what about things like the Dogon tribe? And what about things like the what about, because you know, the Dogon tribe talks about what they call the Nomos.
The Nomos. I got an extensive study on that. My first take was on the Dogon.
They talk about the Ark and the Ark. From the
Nomos Ark.
And then what about the ancient Tamarans, where they talk about the different troglodytes or the reptilian beings? Or what do they talk about?
Okay, look. All right, we're going to get into all that. That's good stuff.
How about the Zulu? No. Wait a minute. What about Shaka Zulu?
You fucking with the master.
What about the 100 billion stars in the stars?
Wait a minute. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Listen to me. I just said, I didn't say that there weren't aliens in spacecraft. I said that they weren't physical.
I'm just checking you.
No. Wait a minute. Hold on. What I'm trying to say is this. Now listen to me. Now go back. Everything I just said, didn't I just show a picture? Y'all gotta listen to what I'm saying here.
That's
just listen to me.
I feel you.
Listen, I just said, I didn't say that there were spacecraft and, hey, no, you're gonna get this, I gave him one. But I'm talking about there's a yantra in there. Let me hold your thing. There's a picture that's folded up.
Oh, okay.
Right here. This thing right here.
Okay.
This is called a Sri Yantra. Later on, you know it as the Mandela in Tibet. You know the Mandela in Tibet. Now, let me give you some example. This is where we get trapped. In Kemet and around the world, they call the Nagars in Asia, in India. They call the Uraeus crown in Kemet. You see the serpent all over the world. Now you got a bunch of new niggas come up like David Icke and a bunch of people telling you that they're physical reptilians, and that was a cloak. That was a whole government setup. Let me explain this shit to you. The reptilian people mean the people of the Uraeus crown, which means the people who have full access to the Kundalini energy. That's us. That's what it's talking about. Hell, even in science, they talk about a reptilian brain and all of this type of thing, which is talking about cerebral cortex. It's the people with the full access to the Kundalini energy inside of us. Now then you get, this shit started with Zecharia Sitchin. Zecharia Sitchin works for the Jews. The Jews in 1978 said, look, we realize now that the whole Egyptology and all this type of stuff is getting away from the branch of Hebrew that came out of Kemet, and now we must come in and we must not only did we try to carve out a history for ourselves with this, with Judaism, now we got to go into this metaphysical thing and we got to carve out another ancient metaphysical history, and they chose the main scholar, Zecharia Sitchin. And all of a sudden, what used to be the reptilian, which was talking about the Uraeus crown and the serpentine crown, which was the Kundalini race and the full access to the Kundalini race, all of a sudden start becoming physical reptilian beings.
They have physical reptilian beings on the wall of Egypt.
They got ships on the wall of Egypt.
I didn't say, you all not getting this thing, what I'm saying.
He's saying, yeah,
I'm saying that is symbology.
We're gonna get it.
Okay, we feel
Do your thing.
You ain't telling me shit about Egypt, nigga. I studied Egypt for the last fucking 19 years.
yeah.
Hell, on the walls, what walls? I tell you all the goddamn temples there. Temple of Como, Temple of Esna, Temple of Denver, Temple of Karnak, Karwari.
So you just
Old news.
all those.
I'm just trying to say here, I know all of the particular stuff like that. What I'm trying to tell you is this here. Yes, they have ships. Didn't I just show you the bark, the celestial bark with the ship?
No.
I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to tell you is this. It's symbology. See, this is it, what I'm trying to tell you. Now, you want to get into the magical aspect.
That's what
There's two. But just listen to me, because this is all important.
I agree.
See, if you want to be revealed information,
Right.
you see what I'm saying? You can't flinch at what's coming to you, because there's a wall you got to break through.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying? Forget what you know. Break on through to the other side by saying, no, just take what you got and set it to the side and just
see
listen.
what's going on.
Now you want to get to the other side I'm trying to show you, but
Go ahead, bro.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now,
Come on with it.
there's reptilian beings on the temple wall, but they don't mean they physical reptilian beings. They are symbology. Now let me explain what I'm talking about. The neophyte comes up, and they are trained that everything is based on the apparent, literal. The priest will come up and go, well, you was thinking it that way. That's the first level of this. But in so many words, it's esoteric. Which means that these shits are not literal. They are components on the inside of the constitution of your physical body and on the inside of you. There's no difference between the ships and the damn chakras. Now here's a mantra. This is the damn spaceship. Right here. This is the supreme mantra. Before you get mandalas in Tibet, you get the mantras or the yantras in Hindu. Right in the middle here you have what is called the Bindu seed. The Bindu seed is the pineal gland and the clitoris and the G-spot in the woman. You see what I'm saying? These are all esoteric terminology. They didn't have no fucking literal reptilians, or you would see the literal reptilians now. They are symbology. They are symbols. Signs and symbols of primordial man, Albert Churchward. Myth and symbol of ancient Egypt, Runnels and Clark. And the neophyte thinks it is apparent, and that's how you get trapped. And that's why you can't break on through to the other side. Let me give you an example. In the book Sacred Science, E. Schwaller de Lubitz, R.A. Schwaller de Lubitz, Sacred Science. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a picture on the temple walls of, I think it's on the temple walls of Luxor, of the Battle of Kadesh. And all the white folks was coming. It's got a picture of whatever the Pharaoh is at this time. It's either Ramesses, the Ramesses covered over King Tut's material. So it's either King Tut in one age, it's Ramesses on down the line where he's in the chariot and he's battling these people.
Right.
They was thinking that the Battle of Kadesh was a historical event.
Okay.
What Schwaller and Lewis did, by studying at Luxor Temple for 15 years, was they didn't look at the other panel. There's a Battle of Kadesh, and then in the middle of they got a Pharaoh, he's on in his chariot with the horses. And he's got the smiting scenes where he's smiting. Then they got a ripple like this on the wall, and they got a hole in the wall, and then they got some other people in a castle, and they are rejoicing. The people was thinking that this was versions of civilization, and they didn't realize until Schwaller and Lewis understood, oh shit. The people in the hole in the wall, they ain't even talking about the physical earth. They was talking about another dimension. in another realm. But the literal neophytes came in and they was reading it literal. Let me give you an example. See, you want to get to the other side. I got a lot to cover. That's how you got to learn. You want to learn, I'm here to teach you, but you can't, there's a reason why there's a block.
That's right.
And a standstill. You see what I'm saying? There's a reason why there's a block and a standstill. It's because somebody is reading the shit the wrong way and they're reading it to teach it to a layman on the literal level. So what you thinking is reptilians on the temple walls is nothing but showing the energies of the Uraeus crown and the serpent energy on the inside of you. Kundalini energy. You see what I'm saying? You see the same separs on the Kabbalah. Them ain't nothing but the same wheels of life and the same ships, but they out there. I can show you these motherfuckers tonight. We got a clear sky. Goddamn it, we gonna see some ships tonight. But if you're looking for some physical tin can, you're not gonna see it.
Yeah, you had to back that one up. I'm gonna wait to see that.
And there's no big problem. Hell, I backed it up with 200 motherfucking people in Brooklyn, New York. I got the damn tape. I was at the Slave Theater. I said, we get out of here tonight, we gonna see the ship. Now, I was in Brooklyn, New York. This was 2 years after I started. Had I not produced that goddamn ship, I wouldn't have been able to lecture no more.
Well, we want to see the ship.
Yeah,
see what I'm saying? I wouldn't have, that ain't nothing.
I got the video camera.
I wouldn't have been able to lecture no more. But I got another film when I was in Harlem the next night and everybody was being witness. You see, it's just out there, you just don't know what you're looking at. You just got to know how to spot them. And once you know how to spot them, you see them all the time. You see what I'm saying? Now, the point I'm trying to make here is, it's just like Faulkner. When they started dealing with Hemmitt, the first thing the people said was, the Egyptians didn't know their religion. This is the arrogance of the Germans. You see what I'm saying? This guy, Adolf Ehrman, the arrogance. It was Faulkner that came around after years and said, hey, look. Because what they were seeing contradictions in the text. They were seeing shit that, nature that didn't make no sense. They were seeing stuff that is straight out wrong. And Adolf Ehrman said, oh, I get it now. They was purposely building in mistakes inside of the religion because that's how nature is. Anything that is smoothed off and is repetitiously the same is artificial. They was looking at the patterns in the chaos. And they know that there's no greater blade of grass that grows the same way. So when you go to Rome and Greece, you will see the columns, they're all even. But when you come to some parts in Kemet, they got columns like this, and columns like that. They said, what kind of crazy people is this? No, these people was copying the lotus that grow out of the marshes of the swamps. And none of them grow the same size. You see what I'm saying? No. So the concept here is, you're talking about magic. The first concept of magic here is never think on the apparent. It's not literal. You see what I'm saying? It's not literal. Now I done did every damn ritual known to fucking man. And I done had every damn thing show up. But ain't no bug-eyed green people from no other motherfucking planet showing up. So you say, well, wait a minute. We see the planets out there. How you can say they're not real? Well, you see the trees out there. You see the mountains out there. You see the river and the ocean. And based on the Matrix, they ain't real either. They're Maya and illusion. Well, the same thing with that universe out there. It's one holographic universe, which is universe A, which is called the petty universe. Universe B is called the real universe that we have been separated from in this thing called creation. You see, creation is a botched job by a subordinate deity that broke away from the great mother. Now in the Dogon, they call it Amma, which is, Amma is actually a feminine principle. It's just a matter of the culture, because they were breaking it from Amun Ra, as Diop says. But the Dogon culture, they talk about Ogu broke away, and Ogu was halfway formed in his mother's womb before he tore out the side. Well, in the Gnostic scriptures still coming out of Kemet, Pharaonic thought is this entity, Adal-Dabra, broke away from his mother before he was formed and went and set up a universe of his own, but because he wasn't formed all the way, he botched the job. So creation is a botched job that is not really finished yet, because the spirits had to come in, incarnate into creation, and further it on down the way until it gets to the point where it's finished. So they had to take a botched job, go in through the stream of incarnations until they alchemically got to the right level to destroy this shit. You see what I'm saying? To destroy it. But it ain't coming from some beings out. That's why they ain't showed up. Because they ain't going to show up. Guess why they ain't going to show up? Because they showed up a couple of millions of years ago, and you the motherfucker sitting in the room. You the goddamn aliens.
Yeah.
If you don't understand this shit here, you're wasting your damn time.
And that's the reason why you say as time go on, things change, and it's coming to the point to where we're coming in now.
Did you see the movie X-Men? The first one?
Yeah.
They tell you all of it on the first movie. They said it is talking about a series of mutations till you can get to a mutation. Now they're talking about us. They say that this process is slow till we bring on a new species. This process is slow. We the only people that's been around long enough to transmutate into a new species. On the DNA inside of us, which you see the staff of Tahuti, with the wings of the Medical Association, the staff of Tahuti. On the DNA and the same caduceus is the same fucking damn mitochondrial DNA inside of us. On that DNA inside of us, if you know anything about melanin and alchemy, melanin is a series of amino acids. And they study the amino acids in us every day. And they know that our amino acids is changing. So this whole shit that was put out by fucking Zachariah Sitchin about the 12 DNA strand, we follow that old white man shit. That's for white folks in the barotheric gland. The barotheric gland is nothing but the fucking pineal gland. See, they got to play on words. They know that they're DNA, they know they're not the people. You understand what I'm saying? So they would rather make a goddamn excuse about this barotheric gland that these aliens took out of us is why we couldn't rise. The barotheric gland is nothing but the pineal gland. And they're talking about them. And the aliens they're talking about is us because we created them. You see what I'm saying? So in so many words, the reptilians, now let me go back to this thing so you be sure on this, because it's a government plot. And see, as you think, is going to be the way you're going to have to unlock these gates. Now you can play all you want to. I'm just trying to say, look, let me explain something to you. Now, I don't know everybody, most of y'all are New Wabians. There's nothing wrong with that. He came down to introduce you to some information, to get you to a certain point, so you can go out on your own and become gods on your own. And there's a group of people that was in there that can't go beyond that, but that's all right. They couldn't go beyond it in the first place. There was a group of people, every group out here got a certain amount of gods, and they got a certain amount of people that has to belong to the group. Even in the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad said, we got scientists up in here, and I don't want no more believers. It's right in the damn theology of time. That's when he really started talking this shit. He said, I want gods. But there's a certain group of people that they can only take things face value, and they gotta wait on Dr. York. Dr. York, I've even heard from one of the sisters that Dr. York even told the motherfuckers, God damn it, I'm waiting on y'all.
That's right. Say something new.
He said this shit.
Yeah, that's real. That's right.
That's real.
In some of the things, I'm waiting on y'all. Y'all supposed to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
He was giving the people the thing because he understood. Okay, that was the group. And that's by way you came. I'm just saying though. That's by way you came by. Well, why are you here? If it's just a group, you go to Dr. York and tell Dr. York to teach you something.
Big brother.
No, I'm just trying to say, my point here is this. No, what I'm trying to tell you is this. Because that's exactly what I'm going to tell you, because the part of the first thing I'm going to tell you when I get into this thing in a few minutes is, in order for you to get to the other level, you got to renounce calling yourself anything down here related to a goddamn group.
Thank you.
Because you are beyond the groups.
I agree with
and
that.
I'm going to tell you how the alchemical shit inside of your body lines up. Remember I told you before, if you say, I want to be a sinner, then the alchemical process inside of you lines up that way. Because ye are gods, and whatever you want to do, you got to do.
You're going to substitute too.
You're going to do it. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is this here. The man already done told you. Did he ever tell you in his teaching that you the gods? All the time. All right then. Then end of story. Now what we're talking about here is the level of the gods. You understand what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to say here is this thing here. Is my ass. You got to come out of the groups. Because I'm trying to tell you, this stuff here don't line up based on groups on the mundane level. That's a part of your training.
I can feel that.
That's a part of your training. I was a part of one of Dr. Ben's groups. I was one of his mystery systems. And that was good. I needed that at the time to learn a certain amount of Hemmitt history and stuff like that. But I realized, hey, look, that's not the end all to be all.
Thank you.
Now, so there ain't nothing wrong with that. How can you come before something unless you join something at first? So that's what I'm trying to say. But the point I'm trying to make here is this here. When you go, they call it path working. That's when you rising up the system of spirituality. And a path is your own journey.
Right, right.
The initiate has to go on its own journey. And you can't take nothing with you. Remember in Star Wars, the motherfucker told him, he said, what's in that cave? He said, only what you take with you.
That's in one of the tests.
See what I'm saying? Only what you take with you. I'm not saying that the man's stuff is wrong. All I'm trying to tell you is you at a level now that you got to make the decision. You at the goddamn crossroads. And the crossroads is, are you ready to go to the next level? Because guess what? I can't take you to the next level. You got to make that decision. Remember, in the Matrix, when they was in the dojo, and they was fighting, and the guy said, your problem is not in your technique. Why didn't you beat me? Why did I beat you? The problem is in here. So now, you see what I'm saying? You can't be no New Wabian. You can't be no Nation of Islam. You can't be none of that stuff. You got to be straight up chaos. Because you can't name it a name. When you name it a name, it dies. Melanin inside of you, every time the white boy extracts it, it dies. Melanin never stops moving. And chaos is what melanin is. Melanin is chaos in the blood. Told you that in the movie Phantoms. He said chaos, plain and simple. The rules of chaos, get the book, Condensed Chaos by Phil Hines. Condensed Chaos by Phil Hines. In the book, the first rule of chaos is change is supreme. And if you're not willing to change, then you die.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying? Or you just stay at the same level.
There you go.
And you want to go to the next level, you just stay at the next level. Because change is supreme. And I'm going to tell you, at this particular time, you can't let nothing define you. You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
You can't let nothing define you. What's that, sister?
The author of that book.
Phil Hines. Phil Hines. H-I-N-E. Condensed Chaos. Then he got one called Prime Chaos. Talking about chaos magic. What is chaos magic? Chaos magic is the white boy looked back and said, look at these silly niggas. One over here calling himself Yoruba, one over calling himself Igbo, one of them calling himself Egyptian, one of them calling himself Al-Hausa. These assholes don't know that every tradition is just a fragment of itself because it's thousands of years old. And although those traditions was complete 2,000-3,000 years ago, they're only fragments. He said, now look, I'm ruling this motherfucker now.
That's right.
And this is what I'm going to do. I'll show you how the white boys do. They say, since we didn't create none of that shit, we will let them become divided in these traditions and in these groups. And what we going to do, we going to use all of it. And that's what they call chaos magic.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I want to add with that. I was at a conference yesterday with some quote-unquote Hebrew Israelites. And at the end of the conference, I made a statement. I put some books down on just 5 different sheets of paper. I said, the reason why we can't come together as a people all together or just in the whole, the government has, each one of us has an organization
That's right.
set up under EIN numbers. making it a non-profit organization.
That's right.
We would never come together because as long as we separated, who gonna come together, put all this stuff in?
Man, not only that, let me tell you something. All you gotta do is take your ass and I don't know if you know it, but become a prison guard.
I have been.
You become a prison guard,
Correctional.
and one of the things they give you is a sheet of paper showing you all the different religions and the different groups in there. You gotta learn all that shit.
That's right.
They already know, and the government feed that system.
That's right.
Because they know as long as you separate it, and as long as you don't accept all of it, especially the goddamn dark side.
That's right. Exactly.
Now, I'm the foremost scholar on the fucking devil and Satan. You understand what I'm saying? And that is us.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what the crackers say. Them niggas, they don't even know their true stuff. You used to call yourself Osiris, and you don't get into the fucking dark arts. It's the underworld shit. Black magic itself is the black man's magic. You see what I'm saying? And they don't make no shit that I'm scared of, and I done been through all of it. You see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make here is, they call it chaos magic. They've been dealing with this shit since the 70s. Our shit. But it's just like the Egyptians were saying when they was building in mistakes. White boy Thomas Dolby did Blinded Me with Science. Remember that movie? Remember the song Blinded by Science?
Right.
This white boy, they said, well, damn, this shit is awesome, man. They say, what make this song so popular? Say he purposely built in mistakes in the side of the damn synthesizer, so when it come up, you see, that's the anomaly. Well, guess what? That's what jazz is. Even jazz. When the crackers wrote it down, jazz died. Now you see, look, it's the same thing. You want to take the tradition with you. Duke Ellington was in Central Park. Greatest master ever lived, composer. Was in Central Park. He said, I ain't got time to go to fucking school. He said, I don't have time. He said, I don't have time to go to school and learn this shit at conservatory. The guy said, you're going to need some classical training. He said, I ain't got time for that.
Right.
The guy told him, well, I don't know who the guy was in the car. He said, well, take everything that you have learned and everything you think them schools are teaching you and throw that shit out the window and just go from the heart.
There you go.
And as a result, why is it you got to go to school learn Duke Ellington now? Here it is, the black man can create this shit, and then the white man can come and tell you, you got to have a degree to learn jazz. We talking chaos.
Right.
Jazz is chaos. Everything, look, the white boy is in the blues and jazz. Now that's because we abandoned it. Because chaos has to change. And so the white boy only mastered it after we abandoned it so he could slow it down, write it down, and synthesize it. You understand what I'm saying? And become proficient at it. But it's dead music. People don't understand this before you could even... Eminem came out, what, the end of 97. Before Eminem came out, has become the king of rap now by 2000. See, that's what they calling this white boy. And to let you know they calling this white boy the king of rap, they gave him an Academy Award. They ain't got two black people that's got Academy Awards for music. Isaac Hayes for Shaft and Quincy Jones.
Right.
But Eminem, a newcomer, got a doggone Academy Award for that fucking movie.
Dumbass movie.
But rap was already in for damn near 17 years before they could even master it.
Right.
It came out in 79.
Right.
The point I'm trying to make here is, we talking chaos here. And you got to come out of traditions.
Right.
You got to come out of the traditions. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to knock your school or knock the people in. What I'm trying to say to you, that was all fine the way it was. You see what I'm saying? And he did a good job, commendable. You understand what I'm saying? But the point about that here is, if he said, you all are supposed to become gods, now it's time to y'all to become gods. So what the fuck you talking about what you did in the past?
Come on, let's do it. Let's go into the lecture. Let's do it.
No, I'm just saying, you got to understand these things. You can't let the limitation. This is not to compare. It's just like one of the brothers back in, what you call it, when we was going to see Dr. Ben and John Henry Clark, he was sitting up there always mad because he was on Elijah Muhammad. And I told him, I say, look, the messenger of Elijah Muhammad did a certain work that stands on its own. It don't have to be compared to something else. It stands on its own. That's the problem. We compare shit too much.
Right.
And trying to see whether your teacher was right. It doesn't matter. It's only, did you get what he was trying to tell you and what did you get out of it?
Right.
He only could take you to the bridge. What it was is this here, in any group, there's a certain amount of scientists, And there's a certain amount of followers. And some of the people that come up out of there, the scientists, and some of the people that follow. That's the way any kind of group, otherwise you wouldn't be able to group to exist.
Right.
You understand where I'm coming from here? But the point I'm trying to make here is, you got to become gods. And in this particular case, I'm going to tell you something. There can't be no limitations on your thought. You see what I'm saying? On your thought. You got to check shit out. Now, the reptilians that they're talking about, if you don't get this motif, you might as well go home now, because it's all talking about the Kundalini energy. The next thing here is this here. That Kundalini energy is a feminine energy. You see. Now, I'm going to go into some things right now, and it's going to end up a certain place. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Y'all all right?
Yeah.
You see. But we talk, this is different now. You see, this is different now. That's why I never started a group. I put out the information and I keep moving.
There you go.
You see, I keep moving. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to say, it's different now. We now have the ability, at this particular time, to shape our own destiny. You see what I'm saying? To shape our own destiny. And so that's what the deal is. So let's go into this thing. First of all, for you all to become on the higher level, you shouldn't start no groups. And what I mean here is, this is pertinent. This is chaos realm. This is how the gods, it's like Bruce Lee said, you got to be like water, my friend. Water don't have no standards. You see what I'm saying? There's no methodology to water. When you box it in, it'll find a little crack. Even the goddamn Hoover Dam is only built to last, what, about 150 years. And that bitch is coming down. They ain't built nothing that can hold back water. But it can be the softest thing. Babies are born out of it. You see what I'm saying? But it can be devastating. How you hell they think it wet? The hardest thing is a fucking mountain and the water down, wet down a mountain. Bust a fucking pipe. But water is the physical manifestation of chaos. It never stops moving. And what happens when water stops moving? It dies. It becomes stagnant and it dies, and then what happens? It evaporates. You're right. It evaporates. You see what I'm saying? So the concept here, when you're dealing with the gods, you see what I'm saying? Because let me explain where this is going so you understand how this works, how this magical universe works. It all works based on your heart chakra. That's what this Sri Yantra is. It's the supreme chakra. It's the heart chakra. There's a little dot in the middle. There's a little dot in the middle of this Sri Yantra. Inside of your heart chakra. Because what they're not telling you is this. There's a book. There was one put out. The woman put out the book when God was a woman. Yeah, and she mentioned something in the book. She's the only one honest to mention it. Because all the other people that was into the Egyptology thing was males. And they flinched at what they saw. So they couldn't bear to mention it. Wasn't until another book came out. There's a book called Egyptian Mythology by Geraldine Pinch.